Husky fans, welcome into episode number 7 of NIU Weekly. I'm Andy Garcia, alongside the Associate Vice President, Director of Athletics here at NIU, Sean T. Frazier. Sean, I missed you last week. It's good to have you back. You were busy with MAC meetings in Cleveland, and everything so far so good from what you've heard from the meetings from last week?
Yeah, it's good. We have a good group. It's good to finally get face-to-face or mask-to-mask or whatever you want to kind of put forth. But it's good to see my colleagues. It was good to see the commissioner up front and talk about some really complex issues around from expansion to the college football playoff to the NCAA constitutional convention that's coming up. Yeah, so we have a lot of stuff that's brewing, but we have a tight-knit group. We have some great administrators, great athletic directors, great presidents, and just great administrators in general that have come together. And it was good. It was good. Very busy. A lot of travel, but yeah, you know what? It's going to be face to face, back to face.
No, good stuff. Sean, can I take you back to a day not too long ago? Saturday, October 9th, 2021. We start with NIU football on the road, taking on Toledo. Come from behind, win 22-20, but it doesn't end there. We get in the car, get back in the buses to come home, and we know that NIU men's soccer is taking on number 4 West Virginia. And here at home at the track and soccer complex, and they get the win 2-0 over number 4 West Virginia, NIU men's soccer. And it's not done then, because we have volleyball, who's down 2-0 to Miami at Miami. They come back, win in 5 sets. It's the first time that NIU volleyball has come back from 2 sets down since October 31st, 2018. Can we just capsule that day somewhere, bring that back in another day? But what a day of Husky athletics on Saturday, October 9th.
Yeah, no, it was fabulous. It was truly outstanding. To see all of that happening during the course of a day was overwhelming emotionally, as you can imagine. So we're traveling back after we, had a great win in football at Toledo. Just great to see all the fans that show up. Again, thank you very much for the fans that are on the road, what they do and their support. And then on the road, and then kind of watching vicariously through different means of what's happening with soccer happening right now, domination and then the actual win, obviously just fantastic for the guys and the coaching staff. And then obviously volleyball doing what they did to come back to rally. Yeah, that's epitomizes what we have as far as passion, as far as, stick-to-itness, the grit, the determination. It was needless to say, I slept well.
Yes.
I got a couple of winks, but then I popped back up. Oh my God, what a great day that was. I just want to capture that and use that as we kind of move forward.
Yeah, so let's get kind of some of the rundown, what we've got going for you now moving this week. So we've got football, NIU football on a 3-game winning streak. They're home to Bowling Green this Saturday, 2:30 p.m. kickoff here at Husky Stadium, 815-753 PAC, or go online, NIUHuskies.com. It's Faculty and Staff Appreciation Day. We've got the blanket giveaway to the first 1,000 fans, NIU blanket giveaway, first 1,000 fans. Also, and those are courtesy of Northwestern Medicine. And also the 2011 NIU football team coming back. We're going to talk to DeMarcus Grady. He's going to be on the show with us, a 2-sport athlete here at NIU, but he was a part of that 2011 team. So we've got a busy Saturday with NIU football taking on Bowling Green.
Yeah, no, this is just as high test, a high octane that's getting ready to happen this weekend or was last weekend. So these games are extremely important. Student athletes, staff, coaches, administrators, all in our support group understand what's at stake. And this is the way we want it. It's great to be able to welcome folks back, our teams, our championships, our fan base, but also to understand that there's business at hand. We have to get after it.
Yeah, again, 815-753 PAC. Get your football tickets for this Saturday, NIU taking on Bowling Green. While you're at it, get your season tickets for basketball. We're less than 4 weeks away from the men and women getting on court for games that count. You got to get online. Season tickets, women's basketball start as low as $35, $80 for men's basketball. I'll give you that number again, 815-753 PAC or NIUHuskies.com. To get online, get your tickets for football this week and also your season tickets for men's and women's basketball. You were out there at the open practice. I saw you on Sunday at the Convocation Center. Saw some good things from both squads.
No, it's great. It's good to be able to do that. Obviously coming in long Saturday and then able to take in the practice. And, it's great to see. We have 2 great coaches. You know, they run it like drill sergeants, right? They get after it. But you see the flow. You see the flow. Very different in programs in the sense where you're coming back where you got a lot of upperclassmen on the women's side. You could see that folks understand the expectation of how to go through. But then on the flip side with Coach Berno, and you're watching his detailed way with our young pups that we currently have on the men's side. So great practice. It's great to see the fans. Again, thank you very much for showing up. The autograph signings, the flow, the process, the starting up. So it was good. It was good to be able to take it all in.
Three great guests today. We're going to start with Travis Moore, NIU football assistant coach, defensive ends coach. He's an NIU alum. He'll talk about what's going on with the football team and the D ends for NIU football. We'll talk a little women's hoops. Lisa Carlsen is going to start her 7th season as a head coach here at NIU women's basketball. We're going to talk to her and then wrap it up with DeMarcus Grady, part of the 2011 MAC championship team for football. So we've got an action-packed show. Let's start with football. Sean, our first guest, knows what it takes to win here at NIU. He's an NIU grad. He played football here in 2000, 2004, part of the Silicon Valley championship team in 2004. And now he's come back to be an assistant coach his 3rd year. Travis Moore joins us as head coach, assistant coach, NIU football and the DN's coach. And Coach, great to get you on. And man, talk about this 3-game winning streak and what this team's been on. You guys have been practicing well. The results are showing. What has stood out for you overall with the team?
You know what, I would say honestly what stood out was just the team's composure and times that seemed to be adverse and more importantly, the way they responded to it. Our team has a great buy-in, and that buy-in starts with the top from Coach Hammock, something he preaches and we practice every day, believing in each other and believing in each other on each side of the ball. So whether it's the offense driving with 2 minutes left on the clock or the defense getting ready to take the field with 2 minutes left to stop, we believe in each other. And I think because of that, we've been able to overcome some adverse situations.
And I know you believe in NIU football. You took the hard way, right? You were a walk-on here at NIU football and turned into a 2-time MAC player, 2-time MAC, all-MAC team, defensive end here at NIU. So you know how to play the position. What did you take out of your time here? And you were here with Thomas Hammock. You had some time here with Thomas Hammock here on the football team. What did you take from becoming a walk-on, becoming a starter, being a 2-time all-MAC DN? What did you take from your time here in DeKalb?
You know, what I've took and which is my foundation as a husband, as a father, is just the hard way. And there's no way to get around it. And so for me and practice and preach in my room and what I hear Coach Hammock say from top on down is don't forget the storm and don't forget the things that we've been through that's allowing us to be in position today. And although the record looks a little bit prettier, a little bit nicer today, we can't forget where we came from. And that's got to be the constant in order for us to continue to go where we need to go and where we want to go. And that is the hard way. And that's when I stepped foot on campus. At the time in 2000, we were out, I want to say, the nation's losing a streak. And I was blessed to be a part of a team that was ranked pretty high in the country. But I remember Coach Novak said this dearly: don't forget where we came from when we weren't ranked. And that's the message we want to continue to send and bring and fall in love with being in the process to stay where we're at.
Sean?
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think, people cannot forget where they come from. And I think that rings true with our program. Seeing some of the ups and downs and in betweens, we're still doing what we do the hard way. But again, wins do come both academically and athletically. Coach, talk to me a little about the ability to get pressure on the quarterback. Yeah, I think that taking a look at the first few games, taking a look at where we are as a progression on the defensive side, there were some questions about, getting pressure on the quarterback, getting upfield, tackles for loss, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me about that progression now, what we're seeing and what we saw originally, which is, vastly different now. We're playing at a really high level. So talk from a defensive line, defensive end perspective. What changed? What's happening?
I think what you see now is I think you see our guys having an opportunity to be a little bit more physical at the point of attack, being able to play more vertical, having hands in their gap, and being more disruptive. And so what we had to do is we had to peel back, look at some things we were doing, and see if they were conducive to us being successful. And with the strength of our team being the D-line in the front, we basically developed the mentality that we need to just go at guys. We need to be able to be more physical, hands not be as lateral. And I think because of that, the result is our big guys are playing bigger, more disruptive in the backfield, being able to apply pressure on a quarterback. And nowadays, it's such an RPO game. The ball is out quick. But because we're getting penetration and vertical penetration, we're getting our hands up, forcing the quarterback to throw through trash. And the result is where we're at right now. So pretty excited about where we're going.
I want to bring up a couple of names. I'll start with Michael Kennedy, one of the gray beardsmen on this squad. You guys have so many freshmen, but you do have some senior leadership, and one of them with redshirt junior Michael Kennedy, who wore the juice shirt today in practice, and we know he's been practicing well. What have you seen from Michael Kennedy so far this season?
You know, one thing, Michael Kennedy, I love to get the duff up. Been blessed to be with him 3 years since we've been here. He's just a competitor. To me, he's the epitome of what the hard way is. He's an undersized guy playing a position, no different than I was. But what you can't take and what you can't measure is his heart. And he takes that heart. He brings that intensity and his speed and, every day on the practice field. And there's no reason why he's having the success he's had thus far. But I will say also one thing, Coach Hammond challenges not just us as coaches to bring out in our players, but our players as well within the team, leadership. And I think that's one thing I saw Mike grow the most, not just being a player that always doing it, because he's going to come to work every day, but bringing someone with him. And because of that leadership I see by Kennedy, it's no reason our D-line is also taking the next step.
Also, Ray Thomas, a freshman, if you want to call him a freshman. He's not playing like a freshman. The man's a stud right now, causing havoc in the backfield. What have you seen from Ray Thomas as of late?
You know, one thing with Ray, again, being a freshman playing a position which normally takes some maturity from a physical standpoint, you just see that with us kind of peeling things back and allowing him to use his tools. And he's long, he's big, he's physical. But more importantly, he can be disruptive when he don't have to worry about as much. So you're just watching Ray Thomas, and I tell you what, that kid is more athletic than people give him credit for. And so he's going to continue to get better and better and better as he continue to take reps. I'm excited about Ray Thomas.
Sean?
Yeah, so Coach, you mentioned it earlier on, understanding your pedigree here within the program. You're one of 3 alums in our program right now. What do you guys say to this group, this position group, and to the athletes in general about that connectivity as being an alum and what it means to you as you pass that through to your to your position as well as to your other athletes? What's the essence that you bring to the table and the tales that you have being in this program?
Well, it's ironic you say that. I feed off that every day since I've been here and been blessed to be here. And the thing I tell our guys most is one, we always talk about the storm. I mean, I talk about that storm when I was here, when the foundation was created, so they can understand what the hard way is and what it was. And we didn't know it was the hard way at the time. And so I make sure guys understand it's just what we did. We didn't understand there's something different. It's just what we did. And because of that, it became a brand. And I want to make sure they understand the brand, but the hard work before it, and obviously the hard work after it and throughout. And so I talk about that a lot. And I just talk about the guys see me at times. They see me at times and they're like, Coach, you're so passionate. You're so passionate. And I tell them my passion is because I'm so proud to be back. I'm so proud to be here. I work here for free. And I said, when you work a job that you love.
Wait. Don't say that too many times, Coach Mark.
Appreciate that.
When Sean Frazier,
I wanted to hear.
When Sean Frazier hears free, then his ears pop up, Coach.
Oh, it's not work when you love it. It's not work when you love it. I told Coach Hammock when I got that call, I said I would drop everything for free, and I meant it. Because again, you can't. The joy that I get out of coming here every day and going to work and going to battle with my guys, there's no other feeling like it. And they know that. And every day I'm the same guy, but it's because of the opportunity I have being here. And so I tell those guys, I came back to give back. And hopefully one day you're in position to come back and give back too and mean something.
Coach, one more for you. In 4 of NIU's 6 games, the opponents have been held to 20 points or less, including each of the last 3 weeks. So let's get into Bowling Green, one with Bowling Green and the Falcons. What are some of the keys to NIU's defense this week, especially the defensive ends?
Well, you know what? I tell you what, last few weeks, so Coach Hammock has came into the defensive staff room. I would like to add that, rolled his sleeves up, got tuned up on the board. and really been using this experience the last 16 or so years to help us out up front, especially getting after the quarterback, dialing up things. You'd think he would be an offensive guy, but coach is really doing a heck of a job in there. And since then, we've been able to take coach's concept from an offensive philosophy and tie it into what we're doing defensively, and it's made us better. It's never really been about the other team. We have a saying before every game: who do we play? Coach Jenny developed that saying in the summertime, and it came down to like, well, what workout today? What conditioning today? And it doesn't matter, because if it don't matter, you can push yourself to so many limits. So we don't really talk Bowling Green, Toledo, or any other. We talk about ourselves, and we make it about us. And as long as we can focus on getting better at every element, including the fundamentals, then we'll always have a shot. Our thing is to have a shot at the end, and you minimize distractions when you start making it about other people.
Well, I know you're having fun out there, because I was at practice earlier today and I saw you dancing a little bit, just a little bit, in between plays a little bit, Coach. So I saw you got some moves. I know you're having fun, and this team is having fun. And defensive ends, as Sean said, they really have stepped up, and I know they're going to continue to do that. Congratulations so far, and continued success throughout the season.
Thank you so much. It's truly an honor to be back, and the best is yet to come. The guys are young, and they're getting better and better.
Thanks, Coach. From football to women's basketball, basketball is less than 4 weeks away. From November 9th, women will host Illinois State to start out the season here at the Convocation Center. Looking forward to it, as we're joined by Huskies head coach Lisa Carlsen, starting her 7th season now here at NIU. And Coach, I've been able to see a couple of practices, and Sean and I talked about it in the open, about getting out to the open practice and being able to be in front of fans and some signing autographs. That was fun on Sunday. But how has practice been for you in the squad the last couple of weeks?
Andy, it's been really good. I think this is an extremely competitive group. I think it's an extremely cohesive group. And I think when you can put those two things together, it's kind of a recipe for some success. So we're excited to get on the floor. As any coach would say, the more practice, the better. And as any player would say, the less practice, the more games, the better. So we'll see how those two things mesh.
But it really has been nice that the center of the team has really been together. The 5, 6, 7 top players, who you've got, and they've been able to practice more together. You had success last year. Hopefully that will continue into this season.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of our comfort lies, is that we have that core group that has been playing together for the last couple of years and has really learned how to play well together. And I think I see that more in practice early on now than I have ever before, is, understanding where your teammates are going to be, understanding what we're trying to accomplish on the offensive end, especially, and then really growing on the defensive end in the same way, being able to play really well together.
Sean?
Yeah, Coach, it was really great to see in your open practice, these ladies. They have them back to watch their growth, be here during that time period, having you here during that time period. What are you looking forward to most with this group? I won't just throw out veterans, but they are veterans, right? You have a good group of folks. I know you returned 90-something% of your scoring back from last year. Just looking at you, what are you looking forward to most with this particular group this year?
Well, Sean, you mentioned growth, and I think if I took every kid on the roster and said, has this player gotten better, especially in the last year or so, I can say definitively yes, and in different areas. You have someone like Shelby Coker, who is one of the elite guards in the league, has shown that she can score the basketball in a lot of different ways. But I think if I look at Shelby, her growth has been in her ability to find her teammates and her passing skills. The same thing would be true of someone like Asia Davis. We know that she can be really effective in the bottom half of the lane, being able to rebound the basketball, score the basketball. But I think her ability to find her teammates and pass the basketball has really grown. And that only comes with playing together. So I think what I'm most excited about is that we have some fairly dynamic pieces, but are those pieces now even more cohesive on the floor in order for us to have more success?
I want to give you the chance to talk about the newcomers with Mariah and Laura, and just expand on them, because we know, like you said, we have the core, but what have you added to the squad this year?
Well, I think those two players you mentioned really are perfect fits for our program. Mariah is going to be, or has potential to be, a really dynamic scorer from especially behind the arc. And again, Andy, you saw, and so did Sean, as well as some of our other fans. Mariah has great range, and she has the ability to shoot the three and shoot it from deep. And as much as we like to do that, that's what makes her a great fit for our program. Laura, on the other hand, also has range, but she has great versatility. So she's somebody who can play the 3-4 position for us, do some different things, whether she's facing the basket or with her back to the basket, because she has a great skill set down low. So her versatility allows her to be an integral part of what we're going to do, especially in her career going forward. So I think both of those young players are great fits for the program.
And I thought one of the keys to the squad last year was the rebounding. You guys were one of the top teams in the MAC in rebounding and just cleaning up the defensive glass, not giving teams 2 or 3 possessions. Do you see that as your team being even more of a factor this year? But you got everybody back. They know their roles. Hopefully that will continue. You guys can rebound the basketball.
For sure. And I think you can kind of pinpoint, again, 3 or 4, sometimes 5 players who sometimes it's hard to teach somebody to track the basketball. And so they either have that or they don't. And we have players right now who are really good at tracking the basketball, whether that's Aaron Hodges or Michaela Brandon or Asia taking up space and being able to rebound in that fashion. Not that we don't practice rebounding, but I think sometimes you have to have some of those innate characteristics as a rebounder to have success. And we have that.
Sean?
Yeah, I think you're right. One of the things I saw at that practice I really like is, the chemistry around the defensive side. I'm a defensive-minded perspective, but I love that because you saw the confidence. And again, this is an open practice. You guys have been together, but maybe speak to, that philosophy side. We know we know the transition side that you have. We also know that the run and gun type of mentality and shooting the 3. But talk a little bit about defense for us. What can we see? What can we look forward to?
Well, sometimes people forget that cohesiveness on the defensive end is just as critical as it is on the offensive end. Trusting that your teammate is going to be able to help you or be in the right position in a rotation, or understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses, just like it is on the offensive end. So I think the more we are together and the more cohesive we are on the defensive end, again, the trust factor is there with all 5 on the floor. And that should, in fact, make us a much better defensive team.
What are you working on that you need to improve on in the next less than 4 weeks before we get to Illinois State?
Well, I think if you just look again in the last year or so, the thing that we've really tried to make an emphasis of is taking care of the basketball. And I can tell you that we've done a much better job of that in practice. And I think there's a lot of things that factor in. I think individual growth that I talked about earlier is for sure a factor. I think cohesiveness and understanding of where our teammates are going to be on the floor better is also a factor. And we will have, we'll run similar things on the floor. We'll run a lot of ball screen stuff for the ball to be in Shelby's hands for either to score or pass. So I think all of those familiarity things lead to us taking better care of the basketball. And I think that's, if you look at things statistically last year, that's the one that was glaring that likely, cost us games at time. And so we put a lot of emphasis on that. And I feel good about where we're at in that category.
Because you guys can shoot the ball so well and you've got different weapons, it's tough to keep 1 or 2 players down, Coach. When you got that depth that you guys have on the offensive side, Shelby's going to find that open look. If either she's going to get to the rim or find somebody else. Asia Davis able to get down low. And as you said, her passing has gotten better. It's tough to defend a team like you when you have so many weapons.
Yeah, we can definitely spread the floor. And again, if we could keep everybody healthy and have all of our weapons on the floor at any given time, I think we're a tough team to defend, because you can't just let Asia go to work in the bottom half of the lane. And then when you double, she's a good enough passer to find teammates that can really knock it down from the perimeter. And then, like you mentioned, when the ball's in Shelby's hands, we feel really good about the decision that she's going to make.
Shelby Coker is going to be up there, Sean, for MAC MVP. She's been up there the last couple of years. She's been top 5 in scoring, Sean, and she's had such she finds different ways to score. A lot like you, Sean, when you played basketball, as I remember you, Sean Frazier.
Yeah, that is incorrect.
Some of the upcoming opponents, again, we talk about Illinois State, Coach, Harvard, Drake on the road. It's going to be tough. So you've got some competition, not just non-conference teams that had some success. They got the postseason tournaments last year.
Yeah, I think we have the roster that we need to challenge in those areas, and like you mentioned, our non-conference schedule could be the toughest since I've been here. We're playing, I think I looked at it, of the 9 non-conference games we have, 5 of them played postseason basketball. And again, that's not even counting Harvard, who didn't play basketball last year, who has been really a perennial power in the Ivy League in years past. So I think it's going to be important to challenge this group in preparation for the MAC, but also a lot of different types of teams and styles of play to hopefully throw a ton at them so that when we start MAC play, we've seen a lot of those situations. I anticipate that we'll have a lot of tight ball games, situational basketball down the stretch. And those things can only help you because they're not things that you can always simulate in practice, at least at game speed and in game pressure.
Looking forward to it again. Season tickets on sale right now, NIUHuskies.com, 815-753-PACK. Get your women's basketball season tickets and men's basketball season tickets. It's going to be a fun year. Looking forward to it on the radio and the TV. Can't wait, Coach. I hope the 4 weeks goes fast because I'm looking forward to the basketball season.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
Well, Sean, as we mentioned, part of this weekend with NIU football taking on Bowling Green is they're bringing back the 2011 MAC Championship team. And we have the chance to talk to DeMarcus Grady, part of that team. He played quarterback 2007 to 2011. Also 2-year letter winner with NIU men's basketball, play a little football, play a little basketball, but also, again, part of the 2011 MAC Championship team. Great to have you on, DeMarcus. I know you can't come back this weekend. You got a family obligation. I know you would love to, but we wanted to get you on because you have such great aspects and great thoughts about what happened with your career. And to be a two-sport athlete, we were looking back. We think you are the last student athlete as a two-sport athlete on the men's side. So that's a great accomplishment, and it's great to get you on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Again, I mentioned you were Husky 2007 to 2011. What stood out for you? What highlights stand out in your mind as a student athlete here at NIU?
Just the atmosphere. Getting up on Saturday mornings, having pregame meal and then driving over to the stadium and just seeing all the fans go crazy, waiting for us to get off the bus, and then just expecting us to win. And that was definitely something that we cherished.
Sean?
Yeah, so, DeMarcus, be perfectly honest with you, that's phenomenal. To be able to play two sports, and then the people that I've spoken with, you're like the ultimate team player, okay? So I get to relive you through the games and things that I see on tape, but then I get the chance to talk to, Huskies that come back and talk about you and talk about the tradition that you built. And you built it in the foundation for what we have today. So talk to me about the two sport thing, because, God, I barely was able to get one sport in. I can't even, think about,
So a lot of people didn't know, but I actually loved basketball more than I loved football. And Coach Novak recruited me for football, and I saw Northern Illinois as a great opportunity for me to kind of like separate myself from my cousins who attended the University of Michigan. I played with them my entire life, and I felt like it was time for me to just kind of separate myself and just create my own narrative. And so going to NIU, I continued to play basketball in the off season at the rec center and everything. And when it came my junior year, I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to try to play both sports. And, I spoke it over with Ricardo Patton, who was the coach at the time. And it was kind of crazy for me because I had spoken to Ricardo at the right at the beginning of my junior year. And it was right in between, like when Coach Jerry Kill was when he was moving on to Minnesota. And so when Dave Dorm came in, that was literally the first conversation that I had with him. And this was my junior year before we won the MAC championship. So we had just lost to Miami of Ohio in the MAC championship. And so I remember having that conversation with Dave Dorm, like, hey, I'm DeMarcus, like, I want to play basketball. And he's like, hang on, like, I don't know you. Give me like a week or two to kind of get settled in. And I was kind of bummed out because we had just finished playing in Boise State at the humanitarian bowl. And
yes.
So I had to wait, and I'm like, oh man, he called me back literally like 10 minutes after that. And he told me that I could play basketball, but he said, you have to come back and play football in the spring. Yeah. And so then I said, okay. I said, well, I want to play a different position. I want to switch to wide receiver. I want to, play a little bit more, because that was at the time when, kind of Chandler and I were going back and forth, and, he had ended up beating me out for the job. And I just wanted to play at the end of the day. just wanted to play. I wanted to feel like, I was able to contribute. And Dave Dorn granted me that my senior year. Of course, like I was not afraid to work hard or anything like that. So I think that helped me as well. And, I went through spring ball, then I went through summer, then I played fall, and then I turned around and played basketball again. But just that entire experience was unbelievable, man. And people always ask me like, how was it? Like, how'd you do it? And it actually worked out for me because I graduated on time. Yep. And so my redshirt junior year, I was about to graduate. And so then going into my redshirt senior year, it made everything just a lot easier for me.
Yeah, so a quarterback threw for 5 touchdowns, more than 500 yards, ran for more than 600 yards, 7 touchdowns. And then, as you said, you made the switch to wide receiver because not only did you have Chandler Harnish, but Jordan Lynch also came into the mix. So you knew, hey, I want to get on the field. And that's what you talked about, being a team player, Sean, where DeMarcus, I want to get on the field. I can help any way I can. And that's where the receiver position helped out. I want to go back because you mentioned 2010. You guys lost in the MAC championship game then. And then you came in the next year, 2011, and you win the whole thing. What did losing in 2010 help your team prepare and help you guys in 2011?
It made us more hungrier. It made us hungrier, and we already knew that foundation was already set. And, Jerry Kill set that foundation for us. And, along with Eric Klein, Eric Klein was a great, one of the best strength and conditioning coaches. And I always tell people he was ahead of his time, because everything that we were doing then, everyone's doing now. But it just made us more hungrier. And, going into that off season, we worked so hard, especially my senior class. We worked so hard because we knew what we had when it came to the talent. Only thing we had to do was just put it together. And I mean, it brings me back to, and I actually was watching the Toledo game a few weeks ago when I think the score was probably it was 54 to 52 or something. It was something crazy like that. But we prepared for that. And so it was just no matter who we play, no matter what, we will not be denied. And when we got to the MAC championship, I mean, you saw it. I mean, I think we were down 20-3 or 20-0 at halftime. And I remember talking to Nathan Palmer. Nathan Palmer was pretty frustrated. And I told him, I said, dude, you got to come on. I'm like, we need you. You're going to lead us this second half. And it was so crazy that he did. I think he ended up with 2 touchdowns with 100 some plus yards that second half. But just as a team, man, we never had any problems, no jealousy. We were all about winning. And that's what made my group so special.
And Sean, I'll let you talk to DeMarcus because the career he's got now, I'll let you lead into what he's doing now.
Yeah, well, DeMarcus, I like to eat. Your screen is not.
Okay. There we go.
You do like to see that I do like to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I've heard that your career and what you're doing and how I want to know a little bit about that, but I also want to know why. How did you transition into doing what you do? So I don't want to steal your thunder. Talk to me about your career and what you're doing right now.
So I'm a private chef / I have my own catering company here in Chicago. And I actually used to cook a little bit. Growing up, being at Northern in the dorms, I hated eating. I always ate good when I was at Northern. I always ate good. I always thought about putting the right stuff in my body. And so late nights, only thing that was available was pizza, fries, stuff like that. And so once we had that opportunity to move off campus and kind of, I was able to make my own food, that's where it started. I would just try stuff. And I remember one day I was watching Food Network and I had DVR'd one of the episodes. And after I had DVR'd one of the episodes, I ended up trying it. I went to the store. I was getting parsley, garlic. I was wine. I didn't know where this dish was going, but I ended up making it. And I was like, wow, this is really, really good. And I remember myself and Rashawn Melvin.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a class together, and we had to do a show. We had to do a show. So I did a cooking show, and he interviewed me, and I never forget. He called me Chef Grady, and I was like, okay, like that's good. And from that point on, like I'm a realist, and I knew like my shot of playing and professionally was slim to none. And so I said, you know, what can I do that's fun, that won't be work for me? And so I would told all my guys, I told Chandler, I told Chad Spann, I told Nathan Palmer, I said, look, I know y'all going to the league. How long you staying, I don't know, but I know you're going. I'm going to be you guys' private chef. I said, so when I leave here, I'm going to go to culinary school. And so as soon as I left Northern, I left in May, moved to the city. I saved up $1,500. I'm thinking like, I'm set for the summer, like, you know. And when I got down here, I was taking cabs and everything, like spinning. And I'm like, whoa, like I need to slow down. These cab rides are like $10 a pop. Like, you know, my 1,500 is going to like run through fast. And I ended up getting an opportunity to work at a restaurant while I was in culinary school. I started culinary school in October. And then my whole goal was to be a private chef, And I ended up, fast forward, I ended up re-meeting my wife, Kimberly. Kimberly Grady now, who's a former Husky. She played on the women's basketball team.
Yep.
And she ended up getting me a job, helping me get a job at a special needs school up in Northbrook. And so while I was there, I was able to kind of like work on my brand a little bit. And then she got me a job. She's my savior. She got me a job coaching basketball. She got my job coaching basketball. Whoa. And one of the kids who I was coaching on my AAU basketball team, it was 17 and under. He was his parents owned Goose Island Beer. Used to own Goose Island Beer.
Yes.
And so I was their personal chef for like a year and a half. And it was so crazy because the mother and I kind of bumped heads, you know, with the basketball thing. And because, you know, I was passionate about coaching because, you know, just being literally like fresh out from playing, like I was just so passionate about it. And so the kid told her, he's like, no, mom, like he's cool. Like he's a good guy. And so that led me the opportunity to be able to, you know, be their private chef for a year and a half. And I started building my brand from there. And pretty much everything that I've set out to do, I've been able to do. I love Nike brand. Sorry, Adidas, but I love Nike brand. But I was their like go-to chef for all of the events. Right. For all of the events that they did here in Chicago. So Nike Jordan events, I was doing like huge events. I met a trainer playing, because I play competitive flag football now. I met a trainer who was like the head trainer of the Jordan brand. And he got me in contact with the right people. And I literally have been able to grow my name and my brand from there. Like it's so crazy how like everything has like worked out the way that it has.
And what's the company's name?
Marcus? Chef Grady Catering.
That's awesome. Chef Grady Catering. And we just want to get John. We appreciate the time. Some great stuff. And again, 2011 team coming back. I know you'd love to be here, but we wanted to get you on and say thank you. And we still talk about that team a lot, DeMarcus. Great to have you on, and continued success with all the catering as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
It was great to meet and catch up with DeMarcus Grady. Again, part of the 2011 MAC Championship team that's being acknowledged, and you can be a part of that this Saturday. NIU football, Husky Stadium, 2:30 p.m. Huskies taking on Bowling Green. You'll see a lot of the 2011 team come back. Chandler Harnish is coming back. Pat Schiller's coming back. Naval Jefferson's coming back. A lot of the guys are coming back. So get your tickets if you haven't already. We've talked about it. Be here on Saturdays. We wrap things up. Again, don't forget men's soccer. They're ranked now 22nd now after that win as they beat number 4 West Virginia. They're hosting right after football. So come out for football at 2:30. Then men's soccer taking on number 17 Bowling Green at the Track and Soccer Complex. It's at 7 p.m. So a nice doubleheader on Saturday. 2 really good matchups in football and soccer, Sean.
Absolutely. It's going to be big time. It's going to be electric. Again, replicating what happened last week. So, yeah, please come out. Come out for all of our sports, but these are big time MAC competitions, and they definitely will have a deciding factor about what happens in the future. So let's get after it.
Other home events, Sunday, October 17th, women's soccer hosts Buffalo. That's at 1 p.m. here in DeKalb. And also Thursday, October 21st, women's soccer hosts Miami at 5 p.m. That'll wrap up the show. Reminder, though, Subscribe to this YouTube channel, NIU Athletics. Again, highlights, press conferences, NIU Weekly, more right here on this YouTube channel, NIU Athletics. Subscribe. You'll get it all, and you'll know when there's new shows and highlights up. Fun show, busy show. Travis Moore, NIU football defensive ends coach. Lisa Carlsen, head women's basketball coach here at NIU, and DeMarcus Grady, part of the 2011 MAC championship team, being acknowledged this weekend. That was fun. And now hopefully football and the rest of the sports can get done. Some W's this weekend coming up, Sean.
Yes, no question. It's like I said before, these are all critical matchups, conference games, competitions, and a lot's on the line. So as we kind of go through this, these things, as these wins mount up, as these different things unfold, it definitely has a predictor for the future. So exciting times, exciting.
Looking forward to the weekend, and I'll see you on the sidelines on Saturday, Sean.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Andy. Appreciate it. Go Huskies.
For Sean T. Frazier, I'm Andy Garcia saying thank you for watching NIU Weekly. Go Huskies.